everybody. Welcome, everybody, all of these fantastic schools to Lady Mitchell Hall. I saw Lady Mitchell Hall on the television a few days ago because this is a very, very special place in Cambridge. And some while ago, Stephen Hawking actually did a presentation on this very stage. And some of you will know that a quote he said was, "Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet and wonder what makes the universe exist." We've got lots of stars, year 5 stars from all across Cambridge, Cambridgeshire, in this hall at the moment. And you're going to have a fabulous time learning a little bit more about this wonderful book. We'll get to that in a minute, but first of all, let me just quickly explain about what we're doing today. So today is called the Big Read and Write, and it's a collaboration, lots of people coming together. So it's the Cambridge Literary Festival, the Kite Teaching School Alliance, the County Council, and this year we're really excited because this year is our first partnership with Empathy Lab. And we're really pleased because today we've got Jo Cotterill from Empathy Lab and also Craig from Empathy Lab. So without further ado, we're going to think about all the wonderful schools we've got in the room in a few minutes. But first of all, let's get started straight away with a round of applause and a welcome to the author of this fantastic book, Jo Cotterill, who has written A Library of Lemons. Let's find out more about it.
Hello! This is very exciting. I do like a big hall. And hello to everyone behind me. I feel a bit rude because they're just going to be looking at my back the whole time. So, just come and poke me if you get bored, okay? Now, when I was little, I wanted a unicorn. It was very important to me that I had a unicorn. And I asked for one every single time it was my birthday, and I also wanted magical powers. I thought these were quite reasonable things to ask for, but sadly, my parents could not provide these things, and I'm now all horribly grown up, and I still don't have a unicorn or magical powers, which I think is very disappointing. So if anybody out there knows where I could get a unicorn, please come and see me after the show, and I will gladly listen to you. When I was little, I wanted to pretty much live in a book. I loved books because in books there are unicorns and there are magical powers. And that makes books better than the real world as far as I was concerned. And I lived in my head quite a lot as a child because the things that I could imagine and the places I could go in my head were way better than real life. Hands up if you think that the things you can imagine in your head are better than real life. Yes. Yes, I think, yes, good, yes. It's like that, isn't it? And that's why when I grew up, I didn't actually start my career writing stories at all. I became an actor. Because when you're an actor, you can live in strange fantasy worlds all the time because you're pretending to be other characters. And that's why I liked acting so much. But I still didn't get my unicorn. Boo. Very disappointing. I am going to tell you a little bit about A Library of Lemons because one of the reasons I went back to writing, when I was young, obviously I wrote lots of stories about unicorns. But when I was grown up and I was doing lots of acting things, I got bored in between my acting jobs. And I thought, I need to be doing something creative, something that won't send me completely boringly mad. So I started writing stories again. And I soon discovered that writing stories is actually very much like acting in a way, because when you are writing a story, you have to imagine yourself into the characters in your story. Because if you don't, then they won't be very realistic, and no one will believe your story. And A Library of Lemons, which I think is book, I've slightly lost count. I think I've published 37 books now, and Library of Lemons was something like 33, something like that. And some people say to me, where did you get the idea for Library of Lemons? Because it is a strange sort of title. And I say, well, I like words. I like messing around with words. I don't really do lots of thinking about stuff before I write it. I just put words together and see what happens. And when I was starting to think about a new story to write, I was thinking about libraries. I love libraries. If I can't live in a book, I would like to live in a library. That's like my idea of heaven. Just walls and walls of books. That's just, brilliant. Imagine waking up every day, what should I read today? If only there were a job that was just like that. And I was thinking I'd really like to do a book that's got a library in it. So I was thinking, as you do, about titles, and I was going, a library of mysteries. No. Library of shadows. No, don't like that, no. I was going, a library of lemons. Yes! Because my brain is a strange place. And as soon as I thought of a library of lemons, I thought, yes, that's a really good title. I don't know quite what it's about yet, but I'm sure I will. And the more I thought about it, I thought, yes, I think there should be something about a library in this and something about lemons, and maybe I can bring the two things together. And for those of you who have read the book, you'll know what the Library of Lemons is and why the book is called that. I'm going to read you a little bit from the very beginning, just like 2 pages, because authors reading loads of stuff is boring. So I will try and make it interesting, okay? And it's not too long. And this is all you need to know, really, about the book from the beginning. The new girl, May, asked me to play with her today. I didn't know what to say. She's got long black hair that she'd tied into 2 plaits and put on top of her head, like Heidi or the children from The Sound of Music. She has a round doll face with bright blue eyes, and she only joined the school this term. I was sitting in my favourite corner of the playground with a book. I'm going to do that now. It's what I always do at break time. May smiled at me in a hopeful way, but I shook my head and went back to my book. Okay, she said, and went. I tried to concentrate on my book, but my eyes kept sliding over to watch her. She says okay a lot. Seems to suit her. It even rhymes with her name. Okay, May. She told us in circle time she'd changed schools because her family had moved house. She didn't seem to mind about it, though. She always looked cheerful. I thought maybe she would go up to someone else, but she went over to the fence on her own and started to pick up twigs from the ground. She made a little pile of them. Then she sat down and pulled something out of her pocket. The sun glinted off it. A magnifying glass. She was trying to set fire to the twigs. I watched, fascinated. Would it work? She seemed to be having difficulty getting the angle right. She kept looking up at the sky and then down at the magnifying glass, tilting it from side to side. That's not right, I thought. She needs to hold it in one position for a long time so that the pinpoint of light heats up the twig underneath. I read it in a book once. Lighting a fire that way isn't actually very practical, but it can work if you're patient enough and if the sun is strong enough. But this is autumn. The sun isn't very strong. I was watching her so hard that when she looked up and saw me, I nearly dropped my book in shock. Quickly, I fixed my eyes on the page again, but I couldn't resist sneaking another look at her. She was still looking at me, and she smiled as if I was her friend. My face felt hot with embarrassment. I didn't look up from my book again. May didn't manage to set fire to her twigs. I know that, because if she had, one of the teachers would have come running. Instead, when the bell went, everyone lined up just as normal. I dawdled behind, waiting until the line had almost gone in. Then I rushed over to the fence to look at May's little pile of twigs. It wasn't a pile anymore. She'd arranged them into letter shapes on the ground. They spelled out a word. Calypso. I raced back to classroom, my heart pounding. Why had she written my name in twigs? So you can tell, just from the opening part of my story, that Calypso is not somebody who has a lot of friends. In fact, she's not really very good at talking to people at all. And when I was younger, I took a book with me everywhere. And actually, I preferred reading books to talking to people because I found people a bit confusing and a bit awkward, and you can't always tell what they're thinking. And I didn't think they were very interesting, actually. I still think that about some grown-ups. Shh, don't tell the grown-ups in the room. But children are more interesting. You're more interesting. Yeah. So when I was writing A Library of Lemons, I was thinking about Calypso and about what she's like as a character. And in fact, when I'm writing a story, there are only 3 things I need to know before I start writing. And this is terrible because I know that when you're at school, you're taught how to plan a story, aren't you? Yeah, there's like a beginning and a middle and I don't do that. Sorry. You don't do that either. See, we're kindred spirits. Put your hands up if that's not how you like to write your stories. We should have a rebellion. No, I'm joking. No, let's not. I might get arrested. But the only 3 things I need to start my story are, number 1, a character. I need to know who they are, what sort of person they are, what they want, where they live, that kind of thing. I need that character. I need to know one big thing that happens in the book. Just one event. And in Library of Lemons, it's the thing I can't spoil it for you. For those of you who've read the book, will know which moment that is. That was the one moment I needed. And I need to know how my central character is at the end of the book. I need to know, emotionally if she's better and what's changed for her, things like that. So there's only 3 things that I need to know. And then I just start writing and see what happens. And for me, that's what magic is. When stuff comes out that you didn't even realize was there. And it's really important when you're writing characters that you are good at empathy, because empathy is the ability to fully understand what another person is feeling and communicate it back to them. And when you say it like that, it's really obvious. Surely you do that kind of thing all the time, but not necessarily. And I'm going to demonstrate to you now how we quite often don't use empathy when really it would be a useful thing. So I'd like a volunteer, please. I need somebody who's really, really good at acting scared. Are you really good at acting scared? Come on then. Come up here then. What was your name? Alicia. Right, Alicia is going to... No, not happy and cheerful. Scared. You're really scared, okay? And Alicia is scared because she's been asked to go on, those high wire, rope climbing things that you sometimes go on? They're really fun, and yet, on the other hand, it's like, that's a really long way up. And if you're frightened of heights, that might be the most terrifying thing you have to do. So this is the moment you are, it's your turn to go up the ladder, and you're like, I can't do it, I'm too scared. That's good. That's quite good. Do we believe her? Does she look scared enough? No, look more scared. Oh, lovely. Lovely. Right. I'm going to be person number A. Person number A, and says, don't be silly. There's nothing to be frightened of. Go on, up you go. You'll be fine when you get up there. Okay, that's person number A. This is person number B. Do it again. Wonderful. Oh my God, Alicia, are you all right? What's the matter?
I don't like heights.
You don't like heights? Oh God, well, it is quite a long way up, isn't it? I can see why it might be quite frightening. Do you want to just wait a few more minutes and maybe see if you feel like having a go? You could watch the others and see what you think. It is scary. Have your knees gone wobbly? Yeah, a bit wobbly. Yeah, mine do that sometimes when I get up there. Okay. Do you think you would feel better from person A's response or person B's response? Put your hand up if you think that person A would make you feel a lot better about going up. Don't worry, nothing to worry about. You'll be fine. There's nothing to be afraid of. Okay. So you might feel that was a helpful response. Okay. Put your hand up if you think person B would be the sort of person you might go, oh, thank you, you understand. Okay. That is the difference. That is empathy. Person B was being empathetic. I was saying, I understand how you're feeling, okay? And I can see you're scared, and I'm going to try and stay with you and help you until you find a better place. Okay, thank you very much, Alicia. A round of applause for Alicia, please. Okay, I'd like another volunteer. This volunteer needs to act very, very sad. Okay, I need a sad face. Yes, in the middle of the back row there. If you can find a way out. Yeah, you might be going the wrong way there. A wonderful, yes, yes. Okay, so this person is really, really sad. All the way around to the stage. Wonderful. Or just climb on the stage. Beautiful. But just take the shortcut. What's your name?
Oliver.
Oliver. Oliver is really sad because his mates, his friends at school, have told him today they don't want to play with him. No. We don't want to play with you anymore, Oliver. We're going to often play without you. All of us, all our friends, we're going to leave you there because we don't like you anymore. Okay, I'm going to be person A again. Person A says, "Oh, Oliver, don't worry. You could find some new friends tomorrow. It's fine." This is person B. "Oh, Oliver, that's a really horrible thing they did to you. I'm sorry, people can be really mean sometimes, can't they?" Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to, should we just, I'll tell you what, we'll just sit here for a bit, okay? Maybe in a minute we'll feel a bit better, and maybe we could find something to do. Yeah? Okay. Did you think that person A was the helpful one? Or person B? Hands up for person A. No, you'll find some new friends soon. He's like, yeah, I don't need empathy. Who needs empathy? I'm fine. Okay. Who thinks that person B would be a more sympathetic person to have around if you were in that kind of problem? Okay. So, round of applause for Oliver. Thank you very much, Oliver. Very good. Very good sadness there. So what I'm trying to show you is that when you are being human, which I'm hoping everyone here is, yeah, you might just seem to have a little check. And check your teachers too, because some of them, definitely not humanoid. Okay, so when you are going around and helping people and being with people, it's really important that you connect with them rather than just brushing aside how they feel all the time. Because actually, you'll soon find that if you brush aside how other people feel all the time, then they won't want to be your friend. Seriously. It's like, I don't want friends who are just going to say to me, "Oh, don't worry, cheer up, you're going to be fine." But I'm really sad. No, you don't need to be sad. There's nothing to be sad about. Well, I'm feeling sad anyway. No, you'll be fine. I don't like you. Well, you wouldn't, would you? So, what I want you to do, and this is where it's all going to get a bit bonkers and chaotic, although hopefully not too mad, is where I want you to think about, all of you, I want you to think about something that happened recently that made you feel a certain way. It doesn't have to be sad or frightened. It might be, a very positive kind of feeling, or maybe something happened that made you feel a bit guilty, or I don't know, something, it's a really small event. It doesn't have to be like massive, okay? It could be just a little thing. And in a moment, not yet, in a moment, I would like you to turn to the person sitting next to you, and I would like you to tell them about that moment. Now, this is the important bit. The person who's listening, with your ears like that, I don't know why I did that. It's not like that makes any difference to hearing, is it? That makes it louder. No, it doesn't. The person who's listening, your job is to fully understand what that person is telling you and communicate to them that you've understood it, okay? So to be like, "Oh, I see, so you felt like this because, or whatever their example is, okay? And then swap round. Does everybody understand? Awesome. Let's go. You've got 2 minutes. Have you done all yours?
On Monday, someone from my church died.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Was that somebody who was a close friend? Wow. So how did that make you feel?
Quite upset, but she wanted to die because she was quite old and her neck and ankle were.
So in one way it was sort of happy for her that she got what she wanted, but it was really sad for you because you lost somebody that you liked. Okay. That is reassuring, I suppose, yeah. What about you? Say it again.
I guess mine would be that Stephen Hawking died.
Ah, yes. And how did... Yeah. Good. Everybody dying on Monday. So how did that make you feel? Quite upset. Was he somebody that you looked up to? That you thought was really cool? Yeah. Well, I can see why that would make you sad.
Because I know someone else who likes it very much more.
That is really sad. Well done. Okay. Oh, look at that. The power. Cool, you're all really well trained. Excellent. I should have said that for all the schools who are joining us on the YouTube thing, you should all be doing that at home as well, at school. But I forgot to mention that, so I hope you did that, but never mind. You can do it afterwards. So I'm hoping that was a moment where you felt connected to other people, because that's what builds connections between people. And without connections, we get very lonely and isolated, and that's when we tend to feel sad, and then you have lots of other problems. Now, when you're writing a story, I'm going to demonstrate to you now where empathy comes in when you're creating a character, okay? So what you've just done is massively useful if you're going to create stories. And for this, I need 2 more volunteers. Oh, let's have somebody all the way at the back. Please don't hurt yourself running down the stairs. On the end there, yes, right at the back, wonderful. And let's have somebody from there with a glass. Wonderful. Right, speedy. Okay. These are 2 characters in my story, okay? I want you to imagine this. And your name is?
Emily.
Emily?
Imogen.
Emily and Imogen. Okay. Emily and Imogen. Imogen and Emily. That might get confusing. Okay, Emily and Imogen. They are 2 characters. They are looking out at the same scene. So this, I need you to use your imaginations. Out here is a beach. The sea. It's a beautiful sunny day, okay? You're looking out at it. On the beach, there are lots of families. There's an ice cream van. There are sand castles. There's the sun sparkling on the sea. Blue sky. Now, Emily has come here for the first time on holidays. This is the first time you've actually come to the seaside for a holiday. So, we're going to ask Emily what she's particularly noticing about this scene and how it makes her feel. So, Emily, tell me, what can you see and how does it make you feel?
I see the ocean and it's sparkling. It's exciting because I get to go in there.
The ocean, it's sparkling and it's exciting because you get to go in there. Okay, fantastic. I should have been using a microphone, shouldn't I? Hang on. Oh, because otherwise the people at school will be going, what? What did she say? What did she say? But I just repeated what she said, so hopefully everybody got that. Okay, and so this makes you feel excited. Anything else?
I'm quite happy to be here and grateful that my parents will let me come here.
Oh, I like this story already. It's very uplifting, isn't it? That's lovely. Okay. Imogen has come here for a different reason, okay? Imogen came here last year on holiday, and while she was here, a friend of hers had a very nasty accident and drowned on this beach. Nobody said this was going to be a cheerful talk. Empathise. Okay. So Imogen, this is the first time she's been back to this beach since that accident and since she lost her friend. So, Imogen, what can you see? What do you notice? And how does it make you feel?
Well, I can see that it's still, even though it happened like a year ago, it's still like really, really sad. because like she was like a really good friend, and so it's really strange to see like everyone else is like really happy when I have that thing inside me where it's really still sad.
Excellent, thank you. So, Imogen is noticing happy people, but those people are not making her feel happy because she has brought her own sadness with her, her own grief and her memories. So she's noticing people doing happy things and maybe the sun sparkling on the water, but it's not making her feel happy. Whereas for Emily, who's come here for the first time ever, it is making her feel happy. She's excited, she's looking forward to doing things. It's important to remember, both these characters are looking at exactly the same thing, but they are seeing it differently because they've both come in different kind of states. Thank you very much. Round of applause for both my volunteers. Thank you. So when you're writing your stories and you're creating your characters and you're putting them in situations, it's really important to think about your character and how they feel about things and how they notice things. So, you know, if you've got somebody who has, maybe they're standing outside an abandoned house or something, okay? For one character, this might be an opportunity to go and break some rules, you know, sneak in somewhere they shouldn't really be, have a bit of a poke around. Maybe they've been told to do it as a dare, so they might be quite, you know, nervous and excited about doing something they might get told off about, sneaking around. They would notice, you know, the shadows in the house, the creaky door, as you push it open. Those are the things, because you'd be quite hyper, wouldn't you, as you were going into that kind of house. Those are the things that your character will be feeling. But another character who used to live in this house and has lots of happy memories of it might look up at it and go, there's the white frame around my window. We used to grow grapes up it or something, I don't know. Something like that maybe, or flowers, roses, climbing roses, grapes. Who has grapes growing outside the window? I don't know. Let's move this to the Mediterranean immediately. But however you are describing things in your stories, you need to think about how your characters are feeling. And that is how you're going to draw your reader in. Now, I'm going to do one last exercise here that I think is absolutely hilarious because it usually goes wrong. And it's called the human knot. And what I want to do is to show you that everybody is interconnected. We can't solve problems on our own. So sometimes there are times in life where something is making you stressed or unhappy, and it's probably going to be impossible to fix it all on your own. It makes it that much harder to expect yourself to come up with all the answers. The more people you've got helping you, the stronger you will be. So for this crazy idea, I need 7 volunteers. Oh, and I've got some behind me, so let's have 1, 2, 3. Now, if your school has already been picked, put your hand down so I can try and pick a range from people. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come and join us. 5 on the end with the flappy hand. 6. And all the way over there. Just try not to fall off the front of the stage. You're doing that sort of not quite sure? Not really? Not sure? She's sure on the end. Yes, with the star on your T-shirt. Very nice. Okay. Now, I'm just going to move a little bit of furniture. Talk amongst yourselves. Because otherwise this could go horribly wrong. Mind the lemon. Run away, lemons. Okay. This game is called the human knot. And you can try this at schools, in your class, and perhaps not when you're doing maths or something. You can try it in the playground if you like. I want you all to stand in a circle, shoulder to shoulder, okay? So come all the way around. Don't worry, some of you will have your backs to the audience. Please don't fall off the stage. I didn't do a risk assessment for this, sorry. Okay, I want you all to put one of your hands into the middle. That's it. And take hands with somebody across the circle from you. So make sure that you're not holding the hand of somebody next to you. So hold hands with somebody sort of opposite-ish. That's Let's have one more person. Yes. I didn't add that up right, did I? 7 people? No, that doesn't add up. Should have done my maths. Right. Okay, there's a spare hand. Wonderful. Right, now put your other hand in and take somebody else's hand. Okay. Yeah, all right. Yes, go on then. You can have next to you. Okay. What I want you to do, without letting go and without breaking each other's wrists, I would like you to untangle yourselves so that it ends up in one circle. Should we see how long it takes them? See if anyone, you get bonus points if anyone falls off the stage. Broken arms are extra. Let's see if they can work together to sort it out. Or if I have to get involved. Okay. There's some collaborative discussion going on, so that's good. I think maybe you need to turn round, don't you? Because your hands are facing... No. Put that hand over the top of you. Oh, now this one can go all the way over here, can't it? Wonderful. Hey, we're getting there. It's like a really bad country dancing. Oh, look. Okay, you can go around that. Whoa, look at this. We're nearly there. Right, you need to go under there, don't you? Okay. Oh, we're nearly there. Spread out a bit if you need to. Right, that. Yes. Oh. Which way are you going? Go that way. Then you go under there, and then you go under there, and then you go under there. No, under that way. That's it. Don't break his wrist. Okay, what happened here? What did you do? You were fine. No, this arm goes over that arm. Lift this arm under your head. I can't even speak in sentences anymore. Are we in a circle? Stop, what are you doing? Honestly, you saw one corner out and then another corner's... Right, lift your hands up in the air. Hey! Well done, round of applause for everyone. Oh dear, I love that one. I once tried to do it with a group of 14. Don't do it with numbers that big. It went horribly wrong, and children ended up crying. My wrist is broken. Yeah, don't do it with that many. So I hope what that has shown you is a direct link between being able to identify with other people and to understand how they're feeling. Really important, makes you a nicer person for a start. You will have more friends, I promise. And you will also be able to write better characters because you're able to see the world through different people's eyes, okay? And it will help you be more connected to people, which is how we solve problems. Because unless you've got a group of people, you're just one person on your own, and there's only so far you can get. We do need people to help work with us. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about Empathy Lab, and I'm hoping there is a slide for this. Very exciting. Technology. Oh, these are my other books. That was it, they went. Do you want to know briefly about my other books? Okay, go back to that one then. Okay, so these are some of my other books. As you can see, Library of Lemons is up there. Fall off the front. And the left-hand side has Electrogirl and the Invisible Thieves, Electrogirl and the Deadly Swarm. And they are my superhero books. So if I want to read them. Good, this is the excellent answer. Perfect, top of the class. Give that girl a house point when she gets back. They are stories told partly in normal storytelling, like in words, like prose across the page, like you would normally expect in a book. But they also have comic strips in them as part of the story. So when she's using her superpowers, it goes into comic strip story, and then it flips back when she's being like ordinary human. I have a lot of fun writing those books, and they're illustrated by an amazing artist called Kathy Brett, who just does fantastic blowing up pictures. I have a lot of fun writing those because you just blow stuff up. And save the world, obviously. And on the right-hand end, you will see A Storm of Strawberries, and that is a story which is particularly relevant to today, actually, because today is World something day, and it's a particular type of disability. Does anybody know? I wouldn't necessarily expect you to know. Hands at the back, yes. Not World Science Day? Nope. I'm looking for a particular disability.
World Book Day?
No. It is Down Syndrome Day. Okay, it's World Down Syndrome Day today. And Down syndrome is a very particular genetic condition that some people are born with. And it means that their brains work differently from people who don't have Down syndrome. So they might work a bit more slowly, or they might find it hard to follow things if lots of things are happening all at once. And they get very obsessive about things. And in my story, Darby, the 12-year-old heroine, she has Down syndrome, and she is obsessed with chocolate. It's about the most important thing in her life, apart from her big sister, Katie. And there's a weekend that happens in this book where it looks like she might lose Katie because Katie has a new friend, and she might not get her amazing Easter egg chocolate hunt, which is the thing she's been looking forward to for months. And it's very, very traumatic for her. And then the bottom two books, Looking at the Stars, is a story, quite a big story. Probably a lot of you would find it a bit too sort of old at the moment, but it's got war and refugees and the importance of storytelling and the importance of the imagination and death in it. So if you're a bit about death in books and tragic stuff, then don't read that one. If you're like, yay, murder, then that's the book for you. And the bottom right-hand one is called Jelly, and that is my brand new book. It isn't actually out yet, so this is very exciting. You're getting to see the cover before the book is in the shops. It will be out in June, and it's about a girl called Angelica who is pretending that she's really happy all the time, and she's not. And that's something that we all do quite a lot of the time. You know, if we're feeling anxious or stressed or worried about things, or, you know, we quite often, people say, how are you today? And you go, yeah, I'm fine. Except you're not really, are you? So she's definitely not all right, but she doesn't really know how to tell people, and it's all about her being able to find ways to do that. Right, now I will tell you about Empathy Lab. Oh, I can't get the staff. So Empathy Lab is very important for you guys because they're running an Empathy Day on the 12th of June this year. And what you can do in your schools is you can use all their resources that they've got on their website. And they've got like Empathy Day badges and stickers and things. And what it means is you look at your books at school and you work out which books make you feel something, which of them make you see the world in a different way, which of them make you draw you in and make you go, I know what that character is feeling. I get it. Yeah? Those are the sort of books that we're interested in because it helps us to understand more about the world and more about other humans who, frankly, can be quite confusing sometimes. I don't know about you, other people be really weird sometimes, other humans. And so Empathy Lab is an organisation that's aiming to help children learn more about empathy through books. And if anybody wants to know more about it, and especially if any of the teachers are interested, there's stuff in the packs that were sent to your schools, but also Craig is here. Dun, dun, dun. Give Craig a wave. That's it, say hi, Craig. And you can absolutely quiz him and pick his brains and ask him really difficult questions. He loves that, don't you? He loves it. Think up some really hard questions. And they have put together a pack of books which are, have been specially selected. They're called Reads for Empathy. And so if you've got any of these books in your school, you might want to have a look and check them out because they all show you the world from lots of different perspectives and they make you think about stuff. It's really important we carry on thinking about stuff and asking questions. I always used to get into trouble when I was about your age, especially when it came to rules. I'm not very good with rules. I don't like rules particularly. I like rules if they make sense. But sometimes I begin, but why do we have to do this? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, because I say so. That's a rubbish answer. So these books will hopefully give you lots of different perspectives on the world. And there is also a writing competition I have to tell you about, which is very exciting. And if I were you, I would be entering it. But I can't because obviously I'm not you. And I'm not in year 5 anymore. Boo. But this is a writing competition organised by the Big Read and Write. Ta-da! There she is. This is the Big Read and Write in one person. No, I'm kidding. This is Susie. She's lovely. And she and the team at the Big Read and Write are putting together this writing competition for you guys. And I have written some helpful notes. Helpful. Well, I hope they're helpful anyway. About writing scenes from a character's perspective. Okay, so from a character's point of view. And if you win this competition, you get £100 worth of books that you choose from my publisher, Piccadilly Press. So you can have a look through their catalogue. You go, I want that, one, that, one, that, one, that. Well, you can buy a lot of books for £100. I would so want to do this. You can get like a huge pile like this. And you get a signed copy of Library of Lemons, if you don't have one already. And your school gets 30 copies of Library of Lemons for a class set. Okay, so it's in your school's interest as well for you to enter. So please do send in lots and lots of amazing pieces of writing. Okay, and there's lots of guidance notes in the teacher's pack about what, how to do it and all that sort of stuff. But it doesn't need to be beginning, middle, and end like, that. You don't have to plan it. Yay! You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Okay, and I will hand back to Mrs. Snape.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Am I bang on time?
Bang on time. Perfect. Perfectly done. So a real exciting opportunity, and we do want you to get involved. And if you are watching this and are not in the hall, you are also, so I'm going to just wave to other Cambridgeshire schools. Everybody, let's wave.
Let's wave.
There's people who've done this before. So people here at Lady Mitchell Hall are currently waving to Queen Edith Primary School, Cherry Hinton Primary School, Roundhouse Primary School in St Neots. Well done and hello to you. The Grove Primary School, St Andrews, Church of England Primary School, Holywell Primary School, Teversham Primary School, St Mary's Primary Academy, and Foxton School, and Barrington School. We'll say hello to you. And hello, and turn round this way. So all those people and everybody else is welcome to enter that really fantastic competition. And in the hall, quick hello and wave to Thorndown Primary School, who have been here for 3 times in a row, Mayfield Primary School, Buick Bridge Primary School, Spinney Primary School, Hardwick Primary School, and Morley Primary School. So this is a very big, exciting team event for lots of schools across Cambridgeshire in partnership with Empathy Lab. Do get involved. We're going to tell you about a little surprise at the end, but we are going to take questions now. So this lovely group of people are our empathy spotters, and I think we've got questions specifically for you, Joe. So if you could take this seat of power over here, and I know, look how excited she is. And I'll take this from, oh no, I need to give you,
It wobbles.
your mic's there, it wobbles. Right, who would like, is this on? Oh, this one's, no, back. There are moments like this when I'm very glad you aren't a pupil in my school, Joe. Goodness. This is why we have to do this here rather than in a school.
Oh, come on. That's what you would all have done, isn't it?
Let's take some questions so that I know we can talk about the surprise in a few minutes. So who'd like to go first? We have our empathy spotters along here. Any questions? Luke, have you got a question? Okay.
What experiences have you had in your life that have affected your writing?
Ooh, okay. Start with an easy one, why don't you? What experiences have I had in my life that have affected my writing? Well, in my previous career as a superhero. No, I'm joking. Do you know, I think every single part of my life has an influence on my writing in lots of different ways. I used to be a teacher. I used to teach stroppy teenagers, and quite a lot of stroppy teenagers have turned up in my books. There was a girl at school I really didn't like. She's ended up in one of my books. And yeah, there have been sad times in my life as well, really difficult times. When I was writing Jelly, something really difficult happened at home. And I think a lot of how I was feeling at the time has gone into the book. So I think it's definitely, because you don't feel the same way all the time. So I think it's a lot of the books that I write, even if they're not about what's happening in my life, how I'm feeling at the time will work its way in, definitely. Yeah.
Anna, have you got a question?
Oh,
right, so we'll hand the microphone over.
What's the take-home message of the Library of Lemons?
That we should all eat more fruit. The take-home message of library, that's a really good question. I would like people to listen to each other a bit more. I think that would be a really good thing in this world, and I would like people to be able to talk to other people when they are feeling worried. Because I think there's all this sort of thing about, be strong and be independent and, don't cry, there's nothing for you to cry about. And I don't think those kind of messages are very helpful. And so I would like people to communicate better. And that would help us all feel more worthy, more valued, more part of something big and something good. So yeah, that's what I would like. That was a very long take-home message. And eat more fruit.
Marvellous. Natalie, have you got a question?
Oh, right.
We're going back and forth
Oh, you're doing that on purpose.
across the two cities.
How did you link empathy into your writing?
I think it happens automatically, really. I don't automatically think when I'm writing a book, I must make this very empathetic. I just don't. It's like, I just think about characters that they need to feel real, That's the important thing to me. The characters are the most important thing to me in my stories. And they have to feel real to me, otherwise there's no point going on with it. So I think, it isn't really a conscious thing. It just happens when I make people up. Yeah.
We'll take one more question from the sofa, and then we'll see if we've had any questions from Twitter. Ooh. So, Ollie, can you ask your question?
We have none. Oh, yes, go on.
Do you connect with Calypso at times?
Yes. There's a bit in the book where Calypso says, it's not that I don't like people, it's just that I prefer books. And I definitely feel like that sometimes. Because whilst I love people, well, most people, I don't love all people, that would be weird. Some people are not very nice. It's quite hard to like them. But I definitely need times when I need to not be with people. And so I really connect with Calypso there, when she kind of gets a bit too overwhelmed with too much stuff, and she finds books comforting, and I do too. So there are books, I'm a real big fan of rereading. So like there are books that you read last year or the year before, or I don't know, when you were 5, that you love, and when you're feeling a bit stressed, it's really comforting to go back to those books, because, they're like old friends. So, I really connect with Calypso in those ways.
So one of the things we've been doing, and I should have mentioned it earlier, is that we're inviting people that are perhaps in other schools, not just in Cambridgeshire, to tweet in some questions to the Big Read and Write. Hashtag Big Read and Write. So we'll take a few more questions, and then because we're short of time, we do need to get some questions from you. Susie, are there any questions from the wonderful world of Twitterland?
I saw one, but unfortunately I can't now find the question again. But I saw what the question was, so I can still repeat it to you.
Okay.
Which was a simple question. When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be an illustrator, but I only wanted to draw unicorns. And I think probably at some point somebody said to me, Joannie, do know if you want to be an illustrator, you have to be able to draw more than one thing. And probably I decided I wasn't really very interested at that point. Yeah, so no, illustrator, that's what I wanted to be. Yeah.
So does anybody, we'll take some more questions from these guys in a few minutes, but is there anybody else, we've got a couple of runners here, so you've got some questions at the back. We're not afraid of running up the steps to you, so off you go, runners.
Why don't the runners go and find some people, and then we don't have to necessarily pick them. Why did I want to be an author? That mic's not working. Why did I want to be an author? I wanted to be an author because I was bored. That's a really good reason for me to do things. I start doing things when I get bored. I hate being bored. I have to have something to do. So I was in between jobs and doing boring things, and I thought, I want to write stories. And the best thing about being an author is when the book comes out, it's got your name on the front cover. And that's amazing. That's like, oh, it's a thing, I wrote it. You know, and you can show it to people, and people are really impressed. So, yeah, I can highly recommend it for that reason.
Okay.
Yes, next.
Got a question over here.
What was your first book called?
My very first book to be published was a picture book called Moondance about a little tiger who wasn't allowed to join in a dance. I'm afraid the book is out of print now. But the very first story that I wrote was when I was nearly 6. And it was a Christmas present to my grandparents. And because I couldn't spell Christmas, it was called Chismas. It was lovely. It's all about a little girl who wanted to put stars on her Christmas tree and couldn't find Chismas tree and couldn't find any. And I spelled Christmas like Chismas all the way through. Next. Can you repeat it and shout really loud? My favourite book I've ever written. Ooh. I have 2 favourites. I love, oh, they've gone. I love the Electric Girl books because they're so much fun and they're bonkers. It's like writing a superhero film, only in a book form. And I also am really proud of Looking at the Stars because it was the first time I'd written a book that actually said something. Oh, we took a photo just as I was standing like this. It was the first time I'd written a book that said something about me and what I believed in. So I'm really proud of that one.
Excellent.
Next.
Right, there's a question right here.
Okay.
How old were you when you wrote your first book?
My first book was published when I was 28. And I'm now 42. So you can work out the maths for yourself. Oh, thank you for being surprised. That's nice.
So we
you
need to
behave like a 12-year-old.
So, Joe, if we can take a couple more questions from the sofa.
Right.
So I know you wanted to ask a question. I love that, shaking the microphone. That's a very natural reaction.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Yes. Say 1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2.
There we go.
Perfect.
Apart from the Electric Girl books, did you write any other series?
No, well, I don't know what the plural of series is either. Did you just say series is? Yeah, series is should definitely be a word. I did write a series called Sweethearts, but they were all about different girls, but they were on the same kind of, they were the same kind of book. And they were published by a big publisher called Random House between 2010 and 2012, and there are 6 of them. But they're quite difficult to get hold of now. So, yeah, but Electric Girl is the first time I've done a series with the same characters in each book.
Let's take another question. So, John, did you want to ask a question?
Yeah, then we should come over here because you guys are being neglected.
Have you asked a question? No. We'll ask, John, you ask a question, and then we'll...
In the Library of Lemons, did you always intend to have a happy ending?
Spoiler. Yeah, I have a little bit of trouble with words happy ending because I don't think life is quite like that. But I definitely want to end my books feeling positive. I don't, you know what it's like if you read a book and you get to the end and it's really tragic and you go, oh, well, that was a waste of my time and now I just want to cry. If you ever come across Hamlet, the Shakespearean play, or King Lear, everybody dies at the end. That's it, you know. And I just, that's not, you know, I want to feel that the characters are going to be okay at the end, you know, that they will go on and live fulfilling lives in some way. So, yeah, no, happy ending, yes, sort of. Uplifting. I like the word uplifting.
And I know you would like to ask a question as well. So if you ask a question...
Into the lemon microphone.
And hope the microphone's working this time.
Yeah.
Have you ever wrote stories which you have aimed at adults?
No.
Well, since we're short of time, that's a good answer. And would you like to ask your question?
Sure. One sec.
Okay, that's fine. Amongst yourselves. It's a big piece of paper, small writing.
Would you make more books based on empathy?
Yeah, well, yes. But it's not, but I don't, like I said earlier, I don't set out to make them about empathy to start with. Would I write more books about real characters going through real situations and difficulties? And yes, I will.
Luciana's got the last question from the sofas.
La, 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 la.
What was your favourite book you have ever published or written?
Oh, but I've already answered that one, you see. Although I can answer you my favourite question, my favourite book that I have not yet managed to get published. I wrote a book years ago called Sir Pom Pom. Okay, and it's about a knight who's really, really good at sewing, but he's not very good at fighting. And the king and the queen of Castle Cambridge are very embarrassed about Sir Pom Pom because all the other knights are very valiant and, good at stuff. And Sir Pom Pom is really good at embroidery and, knitting and stuff like that. And so they send him off on a quest to try and get him out of the way because they hope he won't come back. And he takes his noble steed, who's called Tweed, with him. I was proud of that. And they have lots of adventures on the way. And he meets, a princess that needs rescuing from a tower, and a dragon that he's supposed to fight, and a village full of bandits that he's supposed to beat up. And he solves all the problems with fabrics and embroidery and, and sort of crochet. I still haven't managed to get the book published, but one day...
Sounds good.
One day, look out for Sir Pom Pom.
Wonderful. Let's give Jo a big round of applause. Goodness, thank you so much. It was so lovely. Thank you. So we're just going to wrap up now, and there is an invitation to you to really think about what Jo's shared with you about the importance of empathy, thinking about what the characters might be feeling, and really trying to put that into your writing. It'll really make your stories come alive. The next thing is to remember that there is this competition. Please do enter it. It is specifically for Year 5 children all across Cambridgeshire, and you get this magnificent set of 30 books for your class, as well as, if you're the winner, £100 worth of books. Now, a nice small surprise is to tell you that everybody in this room is going to go away, because one of our partners is Cambridge Literary Festival. Everybody is going to go away with this very stylish and very on-brand, I want to say lemon, but the answer is bag. You are all going to go away with a bag today that has another way of finding out about more writers that you can come and visit and come and see, and that's part of the Cambridge Literary Festival. And another little surprise is that there is a bookmark for every single child in this school. And I've heard a rumour, this is Miss Young, I've heard there's another rumour about a book for every school, is that right?
Every teacher in this room has been given a copy of A Library of Lemons.
Oh, so there is a class read for you to do to help inspire you and to become the next writer. So that what we would like to think is that in maybe 20 years' time, there'll be an author standing on this stage, and it will have been one of the people that's sitting in this hall now. Those are our final thoughts. Listen to your fantastic teachers. They will give you some wonderful ideas about how to write really great stories. Listen to each other. Read lots of books. Think about some of the advice that Jo has given. We're just going to finish by saying this has been a really great collaboration. We're so grateful to the schools and the teachers who made the great effort to come here this morning. We hope you've had a lovely, lovely time. And to thank all of our partners, Cambridge Literary Festival, the Kite Teaching School Alliance, Cambridge County Council, who really support us, and a super big round of applause. And finally, to Craig and Jo and Miranda from Empathy Lab. Let's finish with a big round of applause. And because we've had a practice at this, let's just do a final wave from everybody in the hall at Lady Mitchell Hall today. And let's wave to the people back home and in our schools and say, bye everyone. We'll see you next year. See you next year. Thanks. Thanks for visiting. See you next year. Well done.